What is going on? It is Nate the Game Guy coming back with another video, and today I want to show you guys a bunch of pickups that I got from the month of May. Now I'm not gonna lie, May was an interesting month for me. I certainly got some pretty killer titles, while there were some titles as well that were definitely pretty filler as well. I basically got a whole bunch of games spanning from multiple genres, multiple different consoles, from Super Nintendo to Xbox One to Sega Dreamcast to the original Game Boy. I certainly have a bit of a variety when it comes to some of these games. Now, with some of these games as well, I waited a really long time to pick them up, while some games I really didn't care too much about them, but I decided to add them into the collection because you already know, if you're a returning viewer, I am a completionist, so I definitely try to complete as many sets as possible. Now, I do want you guys to stick around for a little bit because I added one game into the collection that was pretty rare, pretty expensive, so if you're interested, you're definitely going to want to stick around for that. So without further ado, let's dive right into this video and take a look at exactly what I picked up for the month of May, right after the intro. Alright, so before I show you guys some of these awesome pickups and not so awesome pickups that I got from the month of May, I want to throw a big disclaimer out there and just say I'm doing this video all in one take. So if you hear me trip over words, repeat things, or just, not really speak necessarily correctly, right? Just know that this video is going to be essentially done in one take, right? I just don't really feel like going back, re-editing a whole bunch of stuff with this because it would just be way too difficult for this type of video. So now, since that's out of the way, let's go right into these pickups. So the first game and the only original Game Boy game that I picked up was Donkey Kong Land. Definitely glad to add this one to the collection. I was actually surprised it wasn't that expensive as I thought it was going to be. Decided to get that one because I'm a huge fan of Donkey Kong Country and wanted to get it. Of course, here is a Super Nintendo game, Super R-Type. I played the original R-Type a very long time ago, and I want to add some hidden gems and some underrated titles for the Super Nintendo into my collection. And as we keep things going with the Super Nintendo, here is Hyperzone. From what I've heard, this is by the same studio, developer, whatever you want to call it, that's responsible for Kirby. So I saw a little bit of some gameplay footage of this, so decided to get that. So another one down. Of course, here is another classic, Street Fighter 2. Now I do have another Street Fighter 2 title for the Super Nintendo, but not this title right here, so decided to get that. And then as we finally get down to the bottom of the Super Nintendo pickups, here is Lagoon. I got this one really cheap, actually, and, since I've been wanting to beef up the Super Nintendo collection a little bit, I figured I would take things old school and judge it based on its cover instead of looking up a review, whatever, just like the people used to do back during the 90s. So, let's dive right in to Sega Dreamcast. So the first game from the Dreamcast library I got was Army Men Sarge's Heroes. If you've been following the channel for a while, you will already know that I am trying to go for a full North American Sega Dreamcast set. So that was a must to add to the collection because I needed it to finish the set. I was actually very surprised when I looked to see if I had this game, and I didn't, and that is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. Yeah, there's a little crack right there. Not a big deal. I could just swap it out with a duplicate I may pick up later down the line, or some $1 CD at like the thrift store or whatever. Not a big deal at all. And then here's my final Dreamcast game for the month, Blue Stinger. I did not pick up a whole lot of Dreamcast games. Quite frankly, I've been feeling a little burnt out trying to go for the full set. So I've picked up a few here and there, but ultimately I've kind of wanted to focus on other consoles that I've had more interest in. Then my only PS2 game I got was Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30. Now, this was a game that I had the case and manual for already. I just didn't have the game for it. So I picked up a disc-only copy online, and now this game is complete, and now it's going into the collection. Pretty awesome. And then, here is a more recent game. I got Black Ops 6. Now, for Black Friday, I did get a 3-month for Game Pass, so I have been playing this a little bit here and there, and since I don't really feel like renewing Game Pass or whatever, or Game Pass Ultimate is what it's called, I picked this one up, and I'm not gonna say it's a game that I really enjoy, but it's one of those games where it's like, you know, if you've had a lot going on during your day and you don't really feel like putting a lot of brain power into something, you know, that's a pretty good game to just pick up and just start playing. 10 Pin Alley 2. If you've been following the channel for a while, you will already know that I've got a bunch of Wii games with yellowed cases I'm trying to replace. So this was a game I did not have into the collection, so added that. This will be a common theme with all these games that I'm going to mention right here. Of course, here is Kevin Van Dam Big Bass Challenge. Clearly a game I don't really feel like ever playing at all, but decided to add it because, you know me, I'm the completionist, and I may go for a full complete Wii set one day. Who knows? I'm not opposed to that. Then here is Domino Rally. This looks like a pretty interesting title. Now, this is a game I probably wouldn't mind popping into my Wii, seeing exactly how it plays and all that. But then as we're going down here, we've got Deer Drive. Looks like a very low-budget game for deer hunting or like some Cabela's type game. Not really my thing, but, you know, it is what it is. Finally, at the bottom of the Wii add-ons is Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars. So, looking at this, it has very similar animation to Dragon's Quest. I think that's the game that it's called. I forget. Comment down below if you know which game I'm talking about. It's like one of those games from like way back in the day where it was like about the knight trying to save like the princess and all that. It also kind of has like the same animation style to Monkey Island. Maybe somebody can remind me what I'm trying to think of in the comments section. Please let me know. Now, here's where we get to the good stuff. This is a game I've been wanting to add to my collection for a very long time. I have the remake, I just don't have the original. And that is Klonoa Door to Phantomile. Now, if the hoodie didn't give you a little bit of some foreshadowing, now you get to see this game right here. I paid $400 for this game, definitely not cheap. And funny enough, I bought this from Amazon because I couldn't really find any good listings on eBay. The credit card I was using offered a 5% cashback bonus on all Amazon purchases, and if it didn't work out, I could just return it. Thankfully, this was a good copy, so I'm gonna be keeping this into the collection. Now, the last PlayStation 1 game that I got was Metal Gear Solid. Now, I have Metal Gear Solid, the Essentials Collection for PS2, but I don't have this copy of the original Metal Gear Solid. So, wanted to change that and finally add this game to the collection because this game's a classic. It's just a no-brainer to add to the collection. Now, all these I got from a lot, so I'm going to go through these best I can. Here is Far Cry 5 for Xbox One. I've got this on PS4, so I'm not really going to be planning on playing this copy right here. Mostly just going to be on the shelf for show. Of course, here is Halo Wars 2. I don't have this variant. I forget what the variant I have is called. It's kind of like the Game of the Year edition where it's got all the fancy like DLC or whatever. Again, I'm forgetting the name of what it's called, but I added this variant into the collection, so pretty cool. Lego Worlds. Now, this looks like a pretty interesting game. It's been a very long time since I've played any of the Lego games. I know it's a kids series or bunch of kids games. I know. Don't care. As long as it's fun, that's what I care about. Our lives are way too short to be caring about what other people think. So, Of course, here is Monopoly Family Fun Pack. Probably not going to play this one unless if it's with one of my buddies that has like their kids or whatever, and they're looking for some family-friendly game to play online with the kids or whatever. So pretty cool to add. Moving down the line, Elder Scrolls Skyrim Special Edition. Now I've got this on PS4, but it was cool that this came in a lot. So cool. Now I've got it on PS4 and Xbox One. Moving down the list is NBA 2K19. Got anything to say. Never gonna play it. So moving on. Then WWE 2K18. Same thing as 2K19. Not much to say here. Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, I finished the Mass Effect trilogy several months ago, and I loved it. From what I've heard, this does not follow the same storyline as the trilogy. So I'll be checking this one out sometime as I go through my backlog. So that'll be cool. Transformers Battlegrounds. Huge Transformers fan. From what I see about this game, doesn't really look like something I would be too interested in, but considering it's Transformers, I might check it in or pop it in sometime at some point to see what it's like, but I'm not really in a rush. FIFA 22. Definitely not going to be playing that one anytime soon, if at all. Code Vein. This looks like a pretty interesting anime title. Don't really know much about it, but cool to add to the collection. Going down, Cars 3 Driven to Win. Sure, this is a really fun kids game. I don't think I'm going to be playing it, though. Dirt 4. Now, I do enjoy the Dirt series, so this one I might pop in. I had a buddy tell me that the newer Dirt games weren't that great, but I really enjoyed Dirt 3, so I might try this game one day, see if I can form my own opinion about it. But I am a huge Dirt fan, so glad I added that one to the collection. And now, as we finally get to the end of the list, right here is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, I am a Dragon Ball fan, so I am glad to add this one to the collection. I don't know when I'll be playing it or if I'll be playing it, but it was cool to add to the collection. But now we're at a wrap of what I've picked up for the month of May. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out my video. Please be sure to check out these videos here, and here. After all, I post a lot of content when it comes to game collecting tips, and other video game related subjects. So be sure to keep an eye out every Monday and Friday where I upload consistently, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.